Our final presentation of the day is from Three Trees. We got Jenny Yu and Salleigh Knox. Come on up. Good to see you. Round of applause. Yes, please. Thank you. Same as yesterday. Good to see you again. You got the timer over here, and please use both mics.
Hello. Okay. Perfect.
Good afternoon. My name is Jenny Yu.
And I'm Salleigh Knox.
We're pleased to introduce you to our line of true almond milks. We call it true almond milk because we use absolutely no thickeners or fillers. We're very proud of our clean ingredient list. But what really sets us apart, besides the clean ingredient list, is our uniquely rich, full flavor and the very delicately balanced flavor profile of each of our SKUs. Now, we achieve this really rich, full taste from using way more almonds in each of our almond milks. You can really hopefully taste the difference. And because of the extraordinary number of almonds, our almond milks are naturally high in protein, good heart-healthy fats, and all the micronutrients that you'd find naturally in the superfood. So growing up, my grandmother made nourishing foods that were just very healthful from various parts of plants that she'd find in the forests and mountains near Taiwan. She would take the seeds, the roots, and just make these really delicious concoctions or brews. Here in the US, I found there to be a lack of such healthful plant-based beverages, so I set out to make my own, and I wanted to make one that my grandmother would be proud of. So her approach really inspired our food philosophy, which is using generous amounts of healthful, plant-based, good food ingredients and nothing else, just like you'd make at home for your family.
I'm sorry.
Our name, Three Trees, comes from the Chinese character for forest, which is made up of three of the characters for wood. The idea of the forest, with its abundance of plant-based ingredients and plants is really what our brand's all about.
So we offer two sizes, our liter and our 12 ounces. They retail for $9.99, and because of the high amount of proteins and micronutrients, they're the perfect dairy alternative. Our unsweetened original ingredient list reads almonds and water. That's it. Our unsweetened vanilla just has one more ingredient, vanilla. We also offer 4 12-ounce varieties. These retail for $5.99. They're perfect for when you're on the go or whenever you're wanting a smaller, satisfying beverage that's not too heavy. Our vanilla, we use a premium Madagascar vanilla bean that's prized for its round, creamy flavor. Our chai spice, we use our organic ground whole spices. We do not use any tea, so it's naturally caffeine-free. For our cacao, we use a raw, organic cacao powder, not a syrup, so you're getting the full antioxidant benefits of this powder. We also add in maca. In our matcha green tea, we source a premium organic matcha powder from Japan. We also use organic coconut sugar, and all of these to add just a touch of sweetness and also for its low glycemic index.
The difference is visible on the nutritional facts panel. On the left three, you see typical almond milks, and you can see that they have about 1 gram of protein per serving versus our almond milk, which has 5 grams of protein per serving. So 5 times as much protein because we use just a lot more almonds. And you can see often almond milks, you'll find a really long ingredient list, like the lower bottom left one, versus ours on the lower right, which says just filtered water and almonds.
So because we have 2 sizes, we get multiple placements throughout the store. Our liters get placed in the dairy case, and our 12 ounces get placed in the beverage coolers. This provides consumers the opportunity to come in contact with our brand multiple times throughout the store.
Almond milks and plant-based foods in general are experiencing explosive growth. As the category develops, consumers are becoming increasingly aware and savvy about what's in their dairy alternative. They're looking for a superior product that's truly healthful. We've grown organically and rapidly throughout the Bay Area. We're now in over 60 stores, including Whole Foods. Grocery is still our main channel, but we're also in corporate accounts and food service. In fact, within our first year, Blue Bottle Coffee chose us to be their almond milk supplier for all their cafes throughout the Bay Area. That was a real validation of the quality of our product. We have plans to expand in 2016 with expanded distribution and we plan to continue our strong growth into the new year. Thank you.
Nicely done. Nicely done. As Jenny and Salleigh pointed out, their difference is visible. How visible is it for you guys in terms of the differences between other almond milks in the market? John?
Well, I mean, the flavor is definitely more intense and actually tastes like almonds, which is certainly a plus. With the flavors, I think, it's really clear that you're using like top-notch ingredients in this stuff. Although I guess would love it if it were like organic certified. But that cacao flavor is awesome. I think it's just something, again, that's kind of on trend with, a less processed type product. I think, it kind of, like you pointed out, it has more protein, more fat. It's like the real thing. Like that's what almonds are, right? So again, I think it's pretty true, like what you get inside the bottle. I do wish they could more clearly communicate that 25% ABV thing on there. That's a little scary. I wonder if that's something you got to take off the bottle or not. But I like that story. It just needs to kind of be front and center. So
I mean, that's what I was going to ask next. Greg, a really interesting story. Does it come across in the label, do you think, well enough?
I think I think it could be stronger. So it's small, really at the bottom there. I think there were a couple. I love the brand name. I think it's disruptive. It's obvious that it's almonds, but wishing there was more organic communication on the front. I know that's an issue because only some of your ingredients are organic, but I think that is a differentiator that you would help you break through more. And then that 25% ABV, which is that trademarked? It says TM next to it? Well, I mean, that's your intent, right?
Yeah, so
Well, if you're allowed to do that, then I would want to see it much bigger than it is right now. I want to be able to see it from space.
Mm-hmm. Jenny and Salleigh talked about the ability to have their products in different parts of the store, on different shelves. They're larger and they're single size. Matt, is that something that they can rely on in the future?
I hope so. I think that's an important part of the story, too, is being able to find it. Back to your initial question about competition and being able to find it in different parts of the store, I think could give them a big, significant leap over everybody else. But it still also has to be believable. I mean, and it has to have enough turn to justify that amount of shelf space. Mm-hmm. So I think where you're going to get, and I mentioned this in one of the other ones, is where you're going to get that trial, people really, stopping, studying it and reading it, capturing their attention to justify that kind of velocity or shelf space for velocity is going to be important.
Yeah. Dinah, you've had some experience up here on the stage doing this kind of thing. What do you think of their presentation?
I thought the presentation was really good. I'd love to see, I think that your biggest challenge out there is going to be differentiating yourself on the shelf. Even when you showed me the picture of the almond milks, I didn't see your product right away. I had to really look for it. I think you definitely could tell the story of more where you're differentiating yourself. You've got to bring that. Like, people should be able to tell that in the first 5 seconds of looking at your bottle. So I think that's one way you can prove. I love the taste, absolutely love the taste, but the more protein is important, and I wouldn't have known that unless you told me.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting point. I mean, Dwayne, how important is protein and low fat, and how on trend is that right now to the point where they'd have to put that on the front of the package?
Well, it's super on trend, but I don't think that at 5 grams, it's not terribly meaningful for those people for whom that's a primary purchase screen. And I think, all 4 of my colleagues here have had variations of the same thing, relative to differentiation. This category in particular, for me, there are some antis in here. Non-GMO for sure, organic preferably. Is it HPP'd or heat processed?
Yes, it's HPP'd
It's
currently.
HPP'd, so you've got that box checked, but I would really sort of focus in on some differentiation. If you're gonna have the one SKU that's got 5 grams, let's definitely call that out. So yeah, if I could say one thing, and I think everybody said it, focus on differentiation on this.
Fantastic. Really good feedback. Great
Thank
presentation.
you.
Thanks so much, guys.